After the Windy City and Lake Michigan, it's back to the beaches of Florida for the Pro Tour. Big surf, big air, and great action. This is AquaX. Welcome to the Lake Worth Grand Prix of the Sea in Palm Beach, Florida, for round 4 of the AquaX Pro Enduro Tour, the penultimate round in the series. The last time the riders were on the water, the venue was downtown Chicago, and if it could, it did, especially to Chris MacClugage.
Chris MacClugage out front. Oh, he had a problem. Looked like he pulled a kill switch.
Yes, boat!
Mac, what happened out there?
My boat broke and the pack caught me and passed me. Simple as that.
Checkered flag is out. Brian Baldwin takes the win. And there you saw the green flag here in this second race in Chicago. Oh, he's all over the place, and he goes swimming. That was a hard dismount. That had to have hurt.
I thought I was gonna eat the ski.
Unbelievable finish for Chris MacClugage. He drives by on the last lap and takes the checkered flag. It is Chris MacClugage again with the hole shot. Baldwin goes swimming, and here's the finish, and it is going to be MacClugage taking the win.
So this is how the standings look. Aero Aswar, top of the tree with 148 points. Then Brian Baldwin, Craig Warner, and Eric Francis in 4th. We've got Mike Klippenstein in 5th, and Chris MacClugage 6th on 107 points. After an eventful Chicago, it's not all bad news for the 18-time world champion, though. AquaX rules means you can drop your lowest 3 scores, which means he's right back in the hunt. But from now on, there's no margin for error, and he has to beat Aero. But that may just suit Mr. Mac Attack.
Yes, I spoke to Dean and my brother Rick, and I said, hey, we got to get through this weekend. I said, I'll be able to ride it. I said, you just got to keep it together. We had some just weird things happen, so all we can do is just put our heads down, work hard, and put the Monster Yamaha on top of the podium this weekend.
And former world standings leader Eric Francis is in 4th place on the Kawasaki.
Yeah, by far this year is the hardest year AquaX has had. You have more talent showing up, faster skis because they've changed the rules, so everybody can go a little bit faster, makes it more impressive for the fans to watch, but it's definitely a whole nother level, and I love it. I mean, I loved AquaX beforehand, and now they just made it even better because it's a never-ending challenge. It gets harder every single day.
And what will you have to do to beat Aero this time?
I mean, we've had some good motos where we've beaten Aero before, but what it really comes down to is making the least amount of mistakes. We had him beat in Chicago, and in Moto 2 we had a little get-off, which cost us greatly. Then we ended up putting it back together and winning in Moto 3. Not winning, but beating Aero in it. And then Aero had to get off in Moto 3. So it really comes down to the rider that can push it the hardest and not make a mistake.
Craig Warner has been super consistent this year, but can he make it to the top step of the podium? Craig, you've had a really consistent season, but what is it going to take to get to the top step of the podium?
Honestly, change of weather. It needs to be rough, and what we have to do is just finish races. As long as we keep finishing, other people break down or whatnot that are in front of us, we may have a chance. It's our first year going through the whole thing, and we learned a lot about the setups of the boats. And next year, I believe, should probably be a little bit better. And Kawasaki makes a good boat for the ocean, and we should do pretty good today.
Aero has led the standings since Sarasota, but with a turbulent round in Chicago, is he starting to feel the heat?
Plan is to win, strategy is to win. Try to get the highest possible points for every motos, because I'll do my best, and I'll try my best to just get first place in all the motos.
That's the talking over with. Now let's see who can walk the walk. It's the usual 3-race format. That's 1 today, 2 tomorrow. Over to your race commentator, Mikey Young, for race 1. That's 30 minutes plus 1 lap. Over to you, Mike.
Hey, thank you, Deanna. Looks like you're having a great time down there on the beach. Now let's take a look at the course. The pro course, approximately a mile in length, will be in red, and the amateur course will be in black. Taking a look down at our racers, looks like Craig Warner having some problems there on the factory Kawasaki with the hood open. Go on board with your points leader, Aero Aswar, as we get ready to go. Looks like Warner's got those issues dialed in. And going on board now with Chris MacClugage as we get ready for the start here of Moto number 1. Welcome to Palm Beach, Florida, ladies and gentlemen. It's the L-Dub, and here we go. Race number 1, MacClugage on the throttle as he works his way south to north. Just in front of the Lake Worth Pier, as they know it here locally, affectionately known as the L-Dub. And here we go once again as we come into this. Chris MacClugage 6th in points. Aero Aswar, your current points leader. And as we take a look on board with Aero Aswar, currently sitting in that second place position with MacClugage out in front. MacClugage attaining speeds of 65 miles per hour as they work their way down that back straightaway. MacClugage will be the first one into the turn, so we'll go ahead, credit him with the hole shot. Behind him is Aero Aswar and Mike Klippenstein, currently in third place position. The Clipper was the points leader coming into round number 2 in Sarasota, but MacClugage will be the first one through our start-finish line and maintain that lead. Once again, Chris MacClugage, originally from Naples, Florida, spent some time out in Lake Havasu, and this is his first year on the P1 Aquacross Tour. Aswar, your current points leader with 148 points, got a 12-point lead over Brian Baldwin. However, Baldwin is absent this weekend, and Mike Klippenstein currently sits in the 5th place position with 118 points. As we take a look down, once again, down the back straightaway, MacClugage with about a 2-second lead over Aswar, who is trying to stay out of his wake on the outside. MacClugage past the pier. And again, only about 10 minutes into this one so far, as Aero Aswar still with a pole in the water and trying to reel in your race leader, Chris MacClugage. Going back, you can see the top 3 as they work their way down the back straightaway. It's still MacClugage, Aswar, your battle for first. And Aswar, again, trying to find some clean water, staying on the inside of that wake, being tossed down by MacClugage. Third place, still the Canadian Mike Klippenstein, boat number 212, and the Clipper on a Yamaha SVHO this weekend. Your battle for third between Craig Warner and Eric Francis. Still raging on with Aswar still in that second place position. Oh, and Aswar goes down right at the start-finish line. Aswar swimming right now, doing everything he can to get back to that Yamaha and try to maintain his points lead. Again, a 12-point lead coming into today as Aswar gets up, reboards, and he can't find his lanyard. A tough break for Aero Aswar, your points leader, as racers go by at 60 miles per hour. And Aswar right there, you can see signifying to the course marshal, I need my lanyard. So it looks like what he's going to do is you see him right here, catch an edge right there, come off the boat, and you can actually see the helmet cam with his feet going over the seat. An incredible run there for Aswar, able to get back on it, and as he goes back to the shoreline, factory Yamaha team tosses him a lanyard, and he's full speed back out onto the track. Back on board with your leader, Chris MacClugage, still in first place position, and Mike Klippenstein moves up into second. Klippenstein still about 10 seconds off the pace, being thrown down by the Mac attack, Chris MacClugage. So once again, second, third, and fourth, you got Clipper, Warner, and Francis as we take a look at these 3 vying for that second place position. And again, the Warner, Francis, both on factory Kawasaki's, currently running in third and fourth. Warner trying to make a move right now on Clipper, and Travis Olesko's got problems, unfortunately, for the Dean's team pilot. Back out to that battle for second place. You still got Warner. Warner trying to work to the inside of Clipper, and does. So Craig Warner moves up into second place on the Monster Energy Kawasaki, and Francis now able to get by as well. Back out to your leader, Chris MacClugage. Again, Chris MacClugage bringing many years of experience, known as the GOAT, the greatest of all time, has more wins than any other personal watercraft racer in history. As we take a look down, again, MacClugage working his way up to some back markers. And again, that's a lot of times where champions are made. How do you get through these back markers right here? Because 30 minutes plus a lap is a lot of time. You're definitely going to come into some lap traffic. Now your battle for second place between Warner and Francis, side by side. Both factory Kawasaki pilots, both ride for Monster Energy. Again, Eric Francis, the local boy from right here in West Palm Beach, Florida. Warner coming to us by way of California, living in Georgia currently. And Warner trying to work to the inside of Francis, and Francis slamming that door shut and will overtake that second place position. So Eric Francis, boat number 911, riding for Dave's Auto Body, has a pole in the water and trying to reel in your leader, Chris MacClugage, on the factory Yamaha. So in the battle of the manufacturers, you got Yamaha out in front, Kawasaki in second, Kawasaki in third, as we head to the latter stages of this one. Chris MacClugage turning in the fastest lap time today so far with 1 minute and 23 seconds. And Chris MacClugage taking a look behind, trying to find out where second place is. In second place, not too far behind him right now. Not too far behind him whatsoever. And Aero Aswar has worked his way back up to fourth place after taking a swim a little earlier in this first moto. Francis starting to close in on Aswar. Meanwhile, that gives MacClugage a little bit of breathing room there on the Yamaha. So once again, Klippenstein back there in the third spot, actually slipped back to fourth after Warner was able to get by. And the Clipper, again, one of the top riders in the nation, has many world titles. Oh, and look at this. Aero Aswar gets taken out right there by Eric Francis, just slid right over the top of him. And you can see Aswar in the water getting some help from our course marshals. Wow, let's take a look at this one again, and you can see Francis gets high side right there over the top of factory Yamaha, Dean's team rider Aero Aswar, and Superman may have just found his kryptonite. Tough break for Aero Aswar. They're going to clean up that yard sale there on the east side of the pier, and Aswar collects himself, able to get back on his boat, and I don't know how he is able to even do that. Meanwhile, good news for Chris MacClugage with that right there. That gives MacClugage a little bit more breathing room, flying Old Glory off of the back, saluting all the veterans here the day after Veterans Day. Eric Francis still in second place, and you can see he had really closed the gap within about 4 to 5 seconds of MacClugage. And MacClugage now approaching the finish line, and this would be MacClugage's first victory, first race moto victory since Daytona. The back attack, Chris MacClugage, out comes the checkered flag, and congratulations, Chris MacClugage. Let's take a look. Chris MacClugage took first place, followed by Eric Francis, the Clipper in third, Klagopoulos in fourth, Marcus Jorgensen in fifth, and Victor Nolan rounds out your top six.
The thing was hauling butt, and you know, this is really good water for the ultra, so plus Eric's got that hometown advantage. I felt him coming up, but there's some crazy lappers. You guys made the course tight, and it paid off for the excitement, I think.
Whew. We catch our breath after a dramatic race one. Let's take a short break. Welcome back to Lake Worth, Florida, and a big win for MacAttack in the first AquaX Pro Enduro race. But now it's time for sprint. I'm here with Isaiah Washington. He's going to tell us a little bit about racing with P1.
It's by far the greatest series, most competitors, the strongest competitors for sure, and definitely the most organized and ready to go series.
What are you thinking? Are you feeling ready for the weekend?
I'm definitely feeling ready. I've been training a little bit here and there when I can, so we'll see what we can do with the big boys today.
What are you thinking about the conditions out there?
Right now, they're getting up there a little bit, so it should be some fun in the surf.
And first to 3 for Pro Sprint on the shortened course. 10 minutes plus 1 lap. Over to Mikey.
All right, here we go with the start of race number 1 in our Pro Sprint division. Uh-oh, Johnny Smith having some problems getting off the starting line. No problems, though, for Mike Kilbearer, and it looks to be Franco Tobler. Franco Tobler, a new rider here to the P1 AquaX Series. Franco coming to us all the way from Argentina, truly making this an international cup. And speaking of international, we also got boat number 53 out there, Harry Robinson out of Great Britain. On board right now, though, with Franco Tobler. Tobler right now actually riding on borrowed property. This boat was actually borrowed from the Malone family. The boat is actually owned by Laura Malone, and it was wrenched on by Lewis Malone, who happens to be a pit crew chief in the USAC series. So you know that boat has got to be fast. Mike Kilbearer shakes out into that second place position. Mike coming to us from the eastern seaboard, up near the Baltimore, Maryland area. Great to have Mike out here with us this weekend, but Tobler already starting to put the smack down on the competition. Isaiah Washington currently running in third position, and Isaiah Washington was actually taught how to ride by John Stevens, a former pro racing world champion from many years ago. Isaiah Washington only 17 years of age as well. Franco Tobler, though, is making it happen, captain out there on that Lewis Malone-built Kawasaki. And that is one fast Kawasaki right there, as you see him work his way up to the top northeast side of the track. And this track here a little bit different than the track that you've seen on the Aquacross. This is more of a Grand Prix style track where there's a lot more turns, a lot more ins and out. And Franco Tobler showing you a lot of skill here as he is able once again to get past Mike Kilbearer. Mike Kilbearer, one of the top riders on the East Coast. And we're also glad to have Mike out here representing the United States of America. Argentina currently in the lead, USA back second and third, and Great Britain, boat number 53, Holland Harry Robinson back there in the fourth position. As we head to the latter stages of this one, it is still Tobler, and Tobler has got quite an extensive lead right now. So Tobler, with his French watching on back in Argentina, maintains this lead, and again, not too much time left to go as you watch Tobler really stretch out that lead. And again, Kilbearer about a lap off of the pace right now. Boat number 812 still riding hard. And again, this is only moto number one, race number one of the weekend. Kilbearer sitting in second place, and he knows a 2 is just as good as a 1 in the first moto. Franco Tobler, again, has been the story here in this first pro sprint race, with Washington back there in the third spot, Kilbearer in the middle, and not too much time, again, left to go. Couple more turns here. Franco Tobler, boat number 53, looking to put this first pro sprint in the books. He is your race leader as Robinson goes down. And here comes your race leader, Franco Tobler, through the start-finish line one final time. Checkered flag drops. There is your winner, all the way from Argentina, Franco Tobler. Great job by Franco, and you know he's stoked to get that first place. Coming in second is Mike Kilbearer. Johnny Smith rounds out your top 3 riding for Trinity.
Also on the race card for the weekend is the Aquacross Amateur Internationals. The enduro class has been so successful it's been split into 2, pros and amateurs. The amateur class is still ultra competitive, and to spice things up, a few of the top Brits have come over to compete this weekend. Should be a transatlantic classic.
You come all the way over from the UK to beat the Americans, is that right?
Yeah, that's the plan, yeah, hopefully. Have a better result than last year. Got a bit better boat hopefully this year, so yeah, we're going to good crack.
Number 219, Tommy Olswang here, and there's no way the Brits are going to beat me on my home beach.
My name's Joseph Harvey, number 64. Come all the way from England to see how you Americans ride. Hopefully going to take on the best of the best and give you all a good thrashing.
Hey, I'm Daniel Steele and I'm riding for Broward Motorsports. I'm here racing day at Lake Worth Beach and I'm here to do one thing, beat Tommy Olswang.
Going to be interesting, Mikey.
Yes, indeed, Deanna. The trash talking has already begun here at the L-Dub. Truly an international cup here with the P1 Aquacross. We've got 3 different classes out there, the 200, 250, and 300 class, on board with Great Britain's Joseph Harvey, ladies and gentlemen. And if you watch Harvey out here, he was a winner in Switzerland, as well as Great Britain a little earlier this year. And all them riders headed into one turn. Wow. Harvey, again, competing today atop his Kawasaki Ultra 310R. And taking a look out there, he's getting sprayed down with a little bit of jet wash from your leader who grabbed the whole shot, and that was boat number 248, folks. That's Janni Jorgensen out of Denmark. So Jorgensen is your early leader, but Jorgensen looks like he's pulling off right now, and that's going to move Enrique Chia, boat number 34, into the lead, followed by Miami's Carlito Devalle, sponsored by CRT, and back in the third spot, Joseph Harvey. You can see your leaders working alongside the pier right now, and speaking of alongside the pier, that is Tommy Olswang. Tough break there for Mango coming in on the gaff. Your leader still Enrique Chia, but don't look now. Chia's got some company. Chia, Devalle, and Harvey running 1, 2, and 3. It looks like Janni Jorgensen coming from the beach. Sat the last couple laps out. He is back in the race, back on board with Joseph Harvey, who is currently running in that third spot and trying to make a move right now on second and third, Devalle and Enrique Chia. Taking a look here. Here comes Harvey out of the turn as your top 4 riders all in a battle right now. Heated battle down the back straightaway. Joseph Harvey looking to split your leaders right now. That's right, here comes Harvey. Harvey going right through the middle. Second place on the left, first place on the right, and Great Britain straight up the middle. Maybe a little bit of that trash talking was good for Joseph Harvey right there. And he is in a solid first place right now as he makes the turn northeast side of the track. Joseph Harvey out of Great Britain with a great pass right there. And there is a take a look at Jason Lester. He's your current leader in the 250 class. Back out to Joseph Harvey. Harvey coming down that front straightaway right in front of the pier here as these riders air it out, and Harvey takes a look over. Taking a look back at second and third place. Third place, Devalier, boat number 30, and just in front of him, Enrique Chia. Back on board with your leader running alongside the pier, back through the start-finish line. Your race finish, it was Joseph Harvey out of Great Britain, ladies and gentlemen. He will take the win, and you can see that young man is pretty pumped up to be here in the States this weekend. Taking a look at your leaderboard, it was Joseph Harvey, followed by Chia in second, Gary Shrigley in third, Anthony Radetich in fourth, Carlito Devalier in fifth, and Chris Saxon rounds out your top six. In the amateur enduro 200 and 250 class, 250 it was Jason Lester, Sullivan, and Mora, Nolan Diaz, and Lofthouse in the 200 class. And they're taking a look at Chris Saxon. He was your winner in the second race here in the 300 class. He was followed in by Joseph Harvey, Hector Toledo, Carlito Devalier, Anthony Radetich, and Enrique Chia. Jennifer Nolan having a great day in the 200 class, and Jason Lester having a great day in the 250 class. Lester, again, a winner in the 250 class in race number 2, followed by Sullivan and Mora. In the 200 class, it was Jennifer Nolan, Eric Diaz, and Duncan Johnstone.
Some great racing out there. You're super fast. How'd you do it?
Well, I kept oil out of my foot wheel. The first race, I found out when I came back I had my gas cap off and it was leaking gas in the foot wheel and I had no traction, so going backwards. But that time all was good.
Well, you're racing super fast out there. Had a great first race, and your second race was strong as well.
Yeah, I came straight through. I mean, riding is harder because the problem is if you stop behind the back markers, it's just twice as hard to ride. I managed to get through. I think I ended up second. That's all good.
While Harvey recovers from the race, we'll take a short break. Welcome back. Next up, we've got Pro Enduro Race 2. So, Aero, you had a pretty crazy day of racing yesterday. Tell us about what happened.
Had a good start. Was leading for a few seconds until Chris passed me, and then there was a lapper in front of me. I was going to overtake him, and then the sponson just hooked. I was in the air. Last thing I know, I was just under the water. So yeah. Then I gained a couple of spots after I swam, and well, another racer hit me. So yeah, I mean, it's got some damage to the skis, and you know, I mean, I got bruises here and there, swollen feet, so yeah, but everything's good.
So Craig Warner had a few issues with the ski yesterday. Let's go in and figure out what happened. Craig, while you're working there, can you tell us a little bit about what happened yesterday?
I had some electrical problems at first, and then it turned into oil problems. It dumped out about 2 quarts of oil and put it into like a lint mode and shut off, and there's nothing I can do. So somehow it got overheated, and now I got to deal with it. So I don't know what's going to happen today. It starts, so we're going to go out there and see what we can do.
MacClugage, you ready for another big day?
Yes, it's a little bit more of the conditions I like. It's going to be a rough 30 minutes. Hopefully the waves will make it go faster. Yesterday it was just a really long, drawn-out race, but 30 minutes is 30 minutes.
You going to be the fastest one out there again?
I will try my best, you know that.
Eric, real quick word, you feeling ready to race?
I'm ready, you know, got a little foot injury and ended up 4th yesterday somehow, so we're going to get out there and see if we can get on the podium.
Anticipation for race 2 is very high. Over to you, Mikey.
Hey, thanks again, Deanna. And here we go, getting ready to go with race number 2. A little banged up, Aero Aswar, the Clipper, who took a 3rd in moto number 1 as the green flag gets ready to drop here at the L-Dub. And there we go. We are off and away, and you can see 14 riders doing battle. Again, headed toward one single turn on board with the Clipper, Mike Klippenstein. Again, out of Canada, riding on a Yamaha, and he's got a couple riders as he's running mid-pack right now. It looks like MacClugage And Aswar, along with Warner, out there toward the lead, going on board with Chris MacClugage, and you can see he's got nothing but clean water in front of him on a beautiful day here in Palm Beach. And we are just about 3 wide as we get ready to head into turn number 1 on board with Palm Beach's own Eric Francis, the Eagle. Will the Eagle land here in Palm Beach this weekend? Well, I'll tell you what, he landed on Aswar a little bit earlier, and we'll see if he can't do a little better here today in Moto number 2. Once again, the Eagle, Eric Francis, with his gun sights set on the Mac Attack. Chris MacClugage, who is your early leader. You got Warner in second, Aero Aswar in third. Again, coming into today, Warner third in the points, Aswar first in the points, and MacClugage achieving speeds of 65 mile per hour down the front straightaway. MacClugage, Warner, and Aswar. And look at this, side by side. We've got Craig Warner and Chris MacClugage. Again, Warner on the Kawasaki, MacClugage on the Yamaha, and MacClugage pulls away just a little bit. That'll give him just a little bit of breathing room here. And Craig Warner and MacClugage, no strangers to going bond rail to bond rail for many, many years, and both of them with world titles under their belt. I believe MacClugage, with a matter of fact, 21 world titles under his belt. And here we go. You can see where Mac is located just past the finish line, top side of the pier. And he'll work his way back out into this beautifully constructed P1 Aquacross course. MacClugage, Warner, Aswar, and the Clipper running in fourth right now. As you can see, a great shot here from the helicopter. The Clipper also attaining speeds of 65 mile per hour. The Clipper and MacClugage, both the fastest boats out there right now unofficially. Aero Aswar still back there in that third place position, and again running a little banged up after getting together with the Eagle, Eric Francis. MacClugage, your race leader, works his way down the back straightaway. Again, nothing but clean water in front of the Mac Attack. We'll see if he can hold on for 30 minutes plus 1, just as he did in Moto number 1. And MacClugage, you can see this kid no stranger to surf as well, known as one of the best surf riders in the United States of America. All right, and you can see Aero Aswar starting to close in on Craig Warner. Again, Warner on that factory Kawasaki. And again, taking a look as they came out of that turn on the northwest side of the track. Warner able to push Aero a little bit wide, and will maintain that second place position. Back into fourth spot, we've got the Clipper, Mike Klippenstein. All the action going on in front of the Clipper right now. And you can see going back to the back of the pack a little bit further, we got the Miss Geico boat, 77. That is Jason Russo, a.k.a. the Chicken Hawk. And folks, here is your battle for fourth place with Clipper on the inside and the Eagle, Eric Francis, on the outside, going on board with the Clipper right there. And you can see things are hot and heavy as Francis able to get by. And Francis, I'll tell you what, he is slicing through this traffic like a hot knife on butter, baby. Your battle for third right now. And look, here comes Francis again. Aswar and Francis. And it looks like Francis on the outside picks up the broom, sweeps hard, and Francis will move up into that third spot, sending Aero back to fourth. Back to your leader, Chris MacClugage, still with nothing but clean water. Couple lap riders, couple back markers in front of him. But the water, pretty decent conditions for the Mac Attack so far today. And your battle for second still raging on now between Warner as well as the Eagle, Eric Francis, and MacClugage. Again, with that battle going on, MacClugage, nothing but clean water in front of him. And MacClugage, you can see, just airing it out as he works his way through the start-finish line. Francis now able to get past Warner. Warner has some problems. You can see the back seat coming off, and uh-oh, bad news for Craig Warner. So C-Dub out of this one right now as he takes the seat off. He's going to jump back onto the course, but that's great news for the Eagle, Eric Francis, who moves up into that second place position. And speaking of great news, also great news for Aero Aswar as he moves up into third. And you can tell Warner's having some issues out there. More issues than National Geographic, folks. No seat on the boat, and he's riding in salt water. All right, back on board with the Clipper, Mike Klippenstein out of Canada. Again, he's chasing down Aero Aswar. That is your battle for third place. Currently Clipper in fourth. The Eagle, however, has his sights set on the Mac Attack. Chris MacClugage, again, taking a second in the first moto. I'm sure he would like to take a moto victory here. As you can see him slowly starting to reel in MacClugage as they work their way through the start-finish line. And again, up to the east side of the pier, they'll make the turn. Chris MacClugage has got to be feeling the heat being thrown down here by the Eagle, Eric Francis. Again, great conditions here today for P1 Aquacross, and glad all these great folks could make it out to round number 2. Back on board with MacClugage, and you can see MacClugage. Here comes Francis on the inside. He's going to challenge. And MacClugage and Francis side by side as the factory Kawasaki pilot takes the inside. He will have the line. He's trying to steal it away from Chris MacClugage, and does. So Eric Francis moves into the lead. Boat number 911, hometown proud from right here in West Palm Beach. His father Ed cheering up and down the beach right now, and you can see he's got a lot of folks here that are pulling for him. Eric Francis, your new race leader. Only one lap to go. Did it on the white flag lap. My goodness, I'll tell you, it doesn't get any more exciting than this, ladies and gentlemen. Eric Francis, your race leader, down the back straightaway as he works MacClugage. MacClugage about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds off the pace, being thrown down by Francis. Oh, and Francis goes down. It looked like he had complete ignition failure. Boat stuck right in the middle of a wave, and he comes off. Does the Mike Phelps back on the boat, but I'll tell you, let's take a look replay, folks. As we take a look, stabs the nose of that boat down and just comes right off, feet over elbows, and MacClugage able to go by. Well, back on board with Chris MacClugage, and again, not too much time left to go in this one as we approach the finish line. Here we go, your race finish. It is boat number 46, going 2 for 2 so far today. The Mac Attack, and he says, don't sweat the small stuff. We got this. One for the USA right there, folks.
Yep, thank you.
It was the Mac Attack in first, Superman Aswar in second, Marcus Jorgensen in third, the Clipper in fourth, Francis in fifth, and the Outlaw Eric Lagopoulos rounds out your top 6.
Chris, that was absolutely wild. Lost the lead, but got it back.
I knew where he was, and I knew he was riding really hard and maybe riding a little bit more than he could handle. And I didn't really want to push it too hard out in front and make a mistake, so I kind of let him catch up, and because I wanted to pace him at the end and really pressure him, and then it worked out even better.
Incredible racing. Tell me what happened out there.
We had a great start off the line, and then my lanyard came out, so it put us dead last at 17th, so made it quite challenging off the go, and we just, took one person at a time, got our rhythm going, and worked our way all the way up to first. Had a good battle with Chris there for about a lap, and then going down the back set, hit a hard set of waves, and it just chucked me off the boat.
After a great win for Franco Tobler in sprints yesterday, could he take the overall with 2 more races today?
And the start of race number 2 in the Pro Sprint division. You can see things have picked up a little bit. The wave's starting to be a little bit rougher, and it's got to be a tough job on them holders to steady them boats. Grabbing the early lead with the hole shot, boat number 812 is Mike Kilbearer. Working on the inside of Kilbearer appears to be Franco Tobler, and on the outside it's Johnny Smith. As they work their way out into turn number 1, Mike Kilbearer, once again from the eastern seaboard, the USA's best chance at a win here this weekend, jumps off to a great start. He's going to need to hold on to it, though. Franco Tobler, again, on a very fast boat, boat number 53, that Kawasaki on the Trinity hull. Again, Bobby from Trinity makes a specialized hull to make these boats carve through the waves a little bit faster. Now, Mike Kilbearer, his hull is a V2. It's actually a bullet hull made out in Lake Havasu City, Arizona by the Kowicki family. So it's Bullet versus Trinity here today. And here comes Tobler. Again, Tobler on the Trinity hull working the inside. Now he'll have the position as they get ready to go back to the outside, and Kilbearer goes down for a drink. Tough break there for Mike Kilbearer, and that's going to move Franco Tobler into the lead. And a great shot there of your leaders as they work their way through the chicanes in this course. Franco Tobler, still your leader, goes down there just momentarily, able to stay in the tray. Very strong youngster right there. And you can see the surf really picking up here as there's a lot of white caps out there as we get into the latter stages of the weekend. Franco Tobler making a pass, and he'll make another pass back by our race finish line, and that's all he needs, ladies and gentlemen, as the checkered flag drops for Franco Tobler. It'll be Mike Kilbearer in second place, Isaiah Washington in third, and Johnny Smith will round out your top 4. Johnny will take home 14 points with that 4th place finish. Straight into race number 3. Here we go. And it looks like things have calmed down just a little bit. Mike Kilbearer, again, on the Bullet V2 hull. We're on board with Mike, and you can see two riders out in front of Mike, and I believe that's Franco Tobler, Johnny Smith, and coming from the outside, it was Isaiah Washington. So Kilbearer currently running in that 4th spot here in our 3rd and final sprint race. Great shot there of the race course and the L-Dub Pier. Franco Tobler is your race leader as he works his way down the front straightaway, and this kid has been unstoppable. Kilbearer currently sitting in that 3rd place position with Isaiah Washington, you can see just in front of him on the left-hand side on the Kawasaki. Kilbearer sweeping hard, trying to overtake that 2nd place position. Franco Tobler, though, not bothering him whatsoever as he is out in front. Nothing but clean, beautiful water here in the Atlantic Ocean for Franco Tobler. Isaiah Washington still maintaining that 3rd place. Isaiah only 17 years old. And again, very fast for only 17. Tobler goes down, has to check his goggles real quick, and he is back up on the throttle. Meanwhile, Kilbearer still maintaining that 2nd place position, holding off the charges being put on by Washington right now. Mike Kilbearer, one of our veteran racers, able to hold on as this young gun, Franco Tobler, has been destroying the competition. Kilbearer goes down right there for a drink, and you get a great shot there with the helmet cam. Checkered flag coming out, and how about it for Franco Tobler? Franco will take the win and pull a hat trick here in Lake Worth. Franco Tobler takes 1st, Isaiah Washington 2nd, Mike Kilbearer 3rd, and Johnny Smith rounds out your top 4. Franco Tobler carried the checkered flag, your winner for the weekend. Mike Kilbearer took a 2nd for the weekend, Johnny Smith took 3rd, and Isaiah Washington rounds out your top 4.
Incredible racing, and you've won the weekend. Tell us how you're feeling right now.
Yeah, I'm very happy. It was a very good race, big waves, and lots of fun.
After the break, it's our final Pro Enduro race of the weekend. Welcome back. We still have our final Pro Enduro race of the weekend, but earlier the Amateur Internationals had their final race. Would this beautiful Florida water be too hot for the Brits? Let's find out. Mikey?
Okay, 3rd and final race here for the Amateur Enduro International Cup. We're on board with Jennifer Nolan. She's went 2 for 2 so far in the 200 class, and here we go with the race start. Taking a look out, your early leader appears to be Yanni Jorgensen. Now, Yanni had the lead in the first 2 motos, pulled off the track. Let's see if he can make it stick. On board with Carlito Devalier. Devalier comes out of the jet spray in 4th place position right now. Took a 5th and a 4th a little bit earlier today, and looks like we've got a rider that's got some problems, and that's Great Britain's Joseph Harvey. Appears to be an ignition problem, and that moves Chris Saxon into the race lead. Now remember, Saxon took moto number 2 victory, race number 2 victory, and he has got a lot of confidence coming into this 3rd and final race. Gary Shrigley also looking for a top 3 position. Jennifer Nolan trying to back up her first 2 wins with a 3rd win here in the 200 class. Your leaders working their way down the front straightaway, and I believe that's Daniel Steele. Joseph Harvey, again, having some ignition problems, and I'll tell you what, that boat has some gremlins out there today. Not quite sure, could be the salt water. And taking a look out there, Hector Toledo, currently in 2nd place, hooks it just a little bit there, but he's able to maintain control as your race leader one final time. Past the big buoy, he'll work his way through our start-finish line, and congratulations, it's going to be Chris Saxon, ladies and gentlemen, your Amateur Enduro winner of the weekend. Chris Saxon took the win, followed in by Hector Toledo in 2nd, Gary Shrigley in 3rd, Joseph Harvey in 4th, Carlito Devalier in 5th, and Cody Tetro rounding out your top 6. In the final race of the 200-250 class, Lester, Sullivan, and Mora once again, Nolan, Diaz, and Johnstone once again. And results are in for the International Cup in the Amateur Enduro 300 class. It was the USA taking the win with Chris Saxon and his Yamaha over Great Britain's Joseph Harvey. In the Amateur Enduro 200-250 class championship standings, Lester, Sullivan, and Mora 1, 2, and 3 in the 250 class. Nolan, Diaz, and Johnstone 1, 2, and 3 in the 200 class.
Chris, congratulations on the big win. You've won the weekend.
Thank you. It feels great to be on top again.
Right, some really fast racing. What was keeping you so fast?
Just trying to stay steady and not pitch myself. Stay stay on the ski. That's the key.
You had a little trouble with your ski. What happened out there?
I broke down 4 times. Sorry, broke down 4 times. Yeah, I mean, this is my perfect conditions. Really, like I say, I mean, I led straight from the first corner. And I was already pulling away. And on the first lap, on the other side of the track, broke down.
Still giving the Americans a run for their money, right?
Yeah, next weekend they better be careful.
Getting ready for the start of our final race of the weekend, and then we'll know who our weekend champ of Pro Enduro will be. Can Mac make it 3 out of 3?
Well, can he, Deanna? We shall see. Here we go, race number 3 on the water right now. We're on board with Travis Zalesko, 999 on the Dean's Team Yamaha. Starter with the green flag high in the air. Once it drops, we will be underway, and there we go. The green flag is down in race number 3. Final Pro Enduro of the weekend is off and away. On board with Travis Zalesko. Zalesko had some problems in Moto number 1, went back to the trailer, and I believe Dean Charrier spun the wrenches the right way here for Moto number 3. Again, taking a look out, Chris MacClugage, your race leader so far as we head into turn number 1, attaining speeds up to 65 mile per hour here in the choppy conditions on the Atlantic Ocean. Now, MacClugage has company right there in the form of Aero Aswar. Aswar out of Jakarta, Indonesia. Comes over here and has his dad Foley watching on and his brother Aksa watching on the live stream back home in Jakarta. MacClugage will grab the whole shot, and you can see him working his way down the front straightaway. Chris MacClugage, again out of Naples, Florida, just across the isthmus here in Florida. And Aero Aswar still in that second place position, but Aswar, as I take a look out, puts his hand up in the air and says, go ahead and go by me. I'm not sure. Aswar could have mechanical problems, or he could be a little bit sore from Moto number 1 after that collision with Eric Francis. So Aswar allowing Francis to go by. So once again, MacClugage in front, Francis in second. Aswar slides back to third, but here comes the Clipper. Clipper in 4th spot, and he is slowly reeling in Aswar, who is he is definitely underpowered right now. There is problems for Aero Aswar, and we'll see if he comes in later on here in the race or not. Aswar on the FZR SVHO, MacClugage on the FZR, and look at MacClugage as he works his way again down that back straightaway. MacClugage showing you what it takes, and taking a look here at Eric Francis, and it looks like Francis popped his cowling right there, loses his hood latch, and that's a tough break there for Eric Francis, and it looks like that thing's going to be popping for the rest of the race. All right, on board with Mike Klippenstein, who's currently in that 3rd place position, and we'll see if that broken hood latch plays a factor here, and see if Clipper is able to get around Francis. And you can see Francis with about 5 seconds between he and Clipper right now. Clipper trying to reel him in. And here comes Chris MacClugage, and you can just see the strength here of MacClugage as he works his way through the brutal surf conditions as things have really picked up here for this 3rd and final moto. Back on board with your race leader, Chris MacClugage, making all the Yamaha fans out there very proud this weekend, as you can see this approximately 1 mile track from the helicopter, and Aswar, yeah, that's it for him. It looked like he was underpowered, and he's going to pull off the track there. A tough break for the Dean's Team rider, and I'm sure that we'll see him back in Fort Lauderdale. Travis Zalesko currently in that 6th place position, spins out there on the east side of the pier, gets her back under control as we are on board with TZ Travis Zalesko, the 999, and he is trying to make something happen here as he's had a tough break here the first 2 motos. Aero Aswar being consoled there by Dean Charrier, the patriarch of Dean's Team, and they have had a tough day at the office here this weekend. And you can see that broken hood latch there on Francis. Francis maintaining that 2nd place position. Not too much time left to go. And here comes your race leader, Chris MacClugage. Puts it in cruise control, and he'll pull a hat trick here this weekend. MacClugage in 1st, Eric Francis in 2nd, Mike Klippenstein in 3rd, Marcus Jorgensen in 4th, Eric Lagopoulos in 5th, and Travis Zalesko rounds out your top 6. Okay, let's take a look at the points overall for the weekend. MacClugage in 1st, Francis in 2nd, Klippenstein in 3rd, Jorgensen in 4th, Lagopoulos in 5th, and Victor Nolan, the Nolanator, rounds out your top 6. Your point standings after round number 4, Aero Aswar in the lead with 182 points, MacClugage in 2nd with 167, but tied with MacClugage is the Eagle, Eric Francis, also with 167.
It's a great event. I mean, the venue is awesome. You can't get a better race site.
I agree. Now this puts you in a really strong position for Lauderdale.
You know, I mean, that's what we're looking at. We had those breakdowns, and we're just banking on staying everything to stay together for next weekend, and it's just a great weekend.
What a weekend. The racing was action-packed here in stunning Lake Worth in Palm Beach, Florida. MacClugage needed 3 firsts to stay in contention for the championship. Let's see if he can do it again next weekend in Fort Lauderdale for the final race of the AquaX Pro Enduro Tour. See you there.